All right, creatures, let's talk about AEW Dynamite. This was a mid-ass go-home show. This usually happens with AEW. The go-home show is mid as fuck. The build is mid as fuck as well. The difference is that this time around, they've actually spent a little bit longer building some of these stories that we have on the card, and some things just don't feel right going into the pay-per-view. So did this episode convince me to spend my little $50 on it? No, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people felt the same way. They were in Huntsville, Alabama. The crowd started off pretty great with the opening segment and the first match. However, after that, it just kind of sounded like everybody fucking left the building. And I don't like to watch wrestling shows where it just feels like no one is entertained. Now, we did start off with Hangman coming to the ring in crutches, struggling to get down to that ring, basically letting people know that he cannot compete at the Revolution pay-per-view. Now, while he is doing all that talking, I did mention during the watch-along that how is he in the ring wearing these boots? If your leg is messed up, there's no way you can get those boots on. Now, while he's over there crying a river about how he's not going to be able to participate in the triple threat match, here comes Swerve, who's basically saying, bitch, if you can't participate, get the hell out of the ring. This is Swerve's house, and this is Swerve's time. And then obviously we have Samoa Joe, who comes out, letting them know that he don't give a damn if he has to face the both of them or just one of them. He is pretty much running things in AEW. He is a champion. Now, while that is going on, here is Hangman, who comes out of the blue with his crutches and attack Swerve from behind, and Swerve is knocked the hell out after being hit with a crutch to his back, whatever that is. And, you know, I'm just looking at it, I'm just like, hold on, Hangman, you got me. You probably got a lot of people to believe that you were actually injured. However, how does it make you look, you going into this match, and you have to pretend that you're injured so that you can be able to attack your future opponent? It doesn't look good. It looks like a really pussy-ass move. And honestly, yeah, he got me, but still wasn't convinced. Now, after this, we had a trios match with BCC versus Eddie Kingston and FTR. This was a really great match. It was chaotic, and we had like 2 or 3 commercial breaks. I'm just like, whoa. AEW, this is just wild how many pictures we will get in a night. Now I understand they got bills to pay and the advertisers are paying the bills, but it's absolutely insane how many times. And that goes to show you that this was a really long match too. While I really did enjoy this match, I kind of felt like y'all could have taken off like 5 minutes out of this and it would have been just fine. And we actually have Bryan taking the win for his team because it literally could have gone any way. Bryan obviously have a match with Eddie Kingston at the pay-per-view. FTR and the other members of BCC, they're facing each other at the pay-per-view too. So the trios match made sense. However, like I said, it could have gone either way. And what ends up happening is Bryan ends up taking the win for his team by putting Eddie Kingston in a submission. Throughout the whole match, the crowd is cheering for Eddie Kingston. You would have literally thought that they were in New York. Like, that's how much that they were really into Eddie Kingston. And the bitch was the reason why his team took the L. And honestly, that kind of makes me feel some type of way about what's going to happen at Revolution. Maybe we'll see this go another way where the babyfaces may take the win for their matches at the pay-per-view. Bryan Danielson is a fucking menace. This guy is just perfect in my eyes. He's definitely giving you that heel energy that you want to have from a wrestler. And I absolutely love him. He's flawless in the ring. And also he got the character down pat. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen at the pay-per-view. I'm hoping BCC wins all of their matches at the pay-per-view. So throughout the night, we have the Young Bucks. They're walking around the building looking for Sting. They got baseball bats. One of them is wearing a black suit, while the other one is wearing this really pink suit. Like, it's really, really pink. Now they're looking around for Sting, and they keep interrupting people's interviews, and they're looking around trying to find him. So that's what we keep getting continuously throughout the night. Now, here we have Will Ospreay, who comes out with Tony Schiavone, basically letting everyone know that he is done with New Japan and maybe he moved to the US. He had a 10-day vacation. Bro, like, you could have taken me with you. I could use a 10-day vacation too. Now he is going to be facing Takeshita at the Revolution pay-per-view. Uncle Don comes out with Powerhouse Hobbs and Takeshita. and basically announcing that, hey, whatever happens, we're still a team. This is just a friendly competition match between the two of them. They go shake hands. Takeshita doesn't really want to shake his hand, but they shake hands. And then Takeshita doesn't want to let go. He has a firm ass grip on his hand. And then Takeshita's trying to let go, but Will Ospreay pulls him back and say, hey bro, I got a firm grip too. Now they're both staring at each other, and here is Uncle Dom just making like no big deal of it, saying, see, friendly competition. And everybody's cheering for Will Ospreay while no one is cheering for Takeshita, which is strange. Once again, Takeshita, I don't care what language Takeshita speaks, there is no reason why he cannot be on the mic. He is a phenomenal wrestler, but you still want to have a bit of an emotional attachment to him. Even if they have to put subtitles on the screen, we can still feel the emotions coming from him with whatever he's saying, whether we know what he's saying or not. And I do think that that's something that they should actually focus on, which is letting Takeshita speak, whether it's English or in Japanese. I think fans will be perfectly fine with that. Now, I am looking forward to that match. My bet is that that's going to be match of the night. I don't see that going any other way, but we'll talk more into details about that when I do my Revolution prediction video. Now, after that, we do have, what's his name? Nick Wayne versus Orange Cassidy. I am over Orange Cassidy. However, I really enjoyed this match with Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne hasn't been in singles competition for a while, and while he's very, very young, I still feel like there's no reason why he should just only be walking around Christian. He should also be getting in the ring and showing people how well he can do, and also improving while he's there. He's only 18 years old, and they're not using him in the ring the way they should. Now, we do have our stepdaddy Christian, Mama Wayne, and Killswitch, who is absolutely useless ringside with Nick Wayne. Christian does interfere while the referee is not watching, but then when he sees that Orange Cassidy seemed to have fallen, the referee put 1 and 1 together and was like, Christian, you must have hurt Orange Cassidy, so you and the whole patriarchy can get the fuck out of here. And I'm just like, wait a minute, you didn't see it, you're assuming, so now you're telling them to leave. They leave, and I'm upset because I actually wanted to see Orange Cassidy get his ass jumped after the match, but then the match continues, and I'm looking at Nick Wayne. I'm like, you got an annoying face. However, you're so good in the ring, and you can be improving so much more if they actually would use you more often on the show. So what ends up happening is the Undisputed Kingdom, they come out. They're a huge distraction. However, Orange Cassidy once again prevails and retains the title. And right after that, Roderick Strong does us a favor by coming in there and beating up on Orange Cassidy. And I'm absolutely happy about it. Now, I don't see, what's going on in terms of, what's his name? The best friends, Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, their asses came out. Just last week, they said that they were injured and aren't compete to, wrestle or whatnot. But here they are this week. And for whatever reason, they're not going to be like in the match with the Undisputed Kingdom, like for the pay-per-view, whatever. Like, there's a whole bunch of people on this roster that don't get opportunities, especially opportunities to be on a pay-per-view. Y'all could be using Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero to be on the pay-per-view to go against the Undisputed Kingdom or something. But instead, once again, it's always Orange Cassidy on almost every freaking show. I'm over it. But this was a really great match. Next, we have Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue for like the millionth time, it seems. Now, we do actually have Julia Hart, who is ringside with Sky Blue, thank goodness. They have a really great match. We have Stokely and Willow Nightingale, who are ringside. And, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, they haven't taken full advantage of Sky Blue being with Julia Hart. So I was hoping that she would take the win cleanly, and that doesn't happen. I don't know what's going on. Who is over there booking this thing? They're just not exploring multiple options, I don't think. Sky Blue takes the win because Stokely Hathaway is distracting the fucking referee. Come on now. Like, I get it, that causes a rift between the whole little trios of Stokely, Willow, and Chris Statlander. But we still need something when it comes to Sky Blue where she needs to take a win clean. And the reason why I say that is because she needs to show her worth in terms of her being with Julia Hart. Julia Hart, baby, I don't know if you're injured or whatever, but the title is not going to be on the line at the pay-per-view. And what I thought was going to happen was I thought we were going to get Julia and Sky teaming up, going against Chris Statlander and Willow for the pay-per-view. And that doesn't look like it's happening either. Now, during the match, whenever it seemed like Sky Blue was going to take the L, you see a lot of disappointment from Julia Hart. And that kind of made me feel like maybe she hasn't proved herself. But like I said, she took advantage of stoltly distracting the referee. While that happened, what the thing is that it was Julia Hart who had to take the TBS title and whack Chris Statlander in the head with it for Sky Blue to take the win. So at some point, Sky Blue is going to have to take a win clean so she can impress Julia Hart. Where are they going with this storyline? I have no idea. But it just keeps seeming like we're seeing the same people over and over again in the storyline, and I'm bored. So for our last match of the night, it's Chris freaking Jericho versus Atlantis Jr. Now, Atlantis Sr. is also out there with Atlantis Jr. He used to be partners with Chris Jericho when Chris Jericho was El Corazon de Leon in CMLL, like God knows 50 years ago. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Chris Jericho, he's talented. He's one of the legends that I know a lot of people love and enjoy. I mean, I don't know about now, but it just seems like I'm just like curious, like what is going on that Chris Jericho is going against these young stars and keep putting himself over every single time. Like, bro, like you've been in the business forever. Why are you taking all these wins? I just don't understand. To me, it doesn't make sense. And the match was not bad, but it wasn't the best either. And the situation is that if you're even one of the veterans, the more older veterans, if you were putting on fucking 4 to 5 star matches, but not, having these younger talents win, at least that would help these guys look better. I don't feel like he helps anybody look better. So for me, I'm watching this and I'm just like, okay, I get the backstory. This is about you and Atlantis Sr. And now you're facing his son like 40 million years later. They have a decent match. And I'm looking at Atlantis Jr. and I'm like, he's great. I would actually love to see him come over on AEW and have more matches, or come on Ring of Honor, have some more matches. However, here we have another opportunity for Chris Jericho to fucking look like a star once again using these younger talents. I get Atlantis Jr. is a CMLL guy. However, Chris Jericho even wins and beats on the younger talents in AEW. But you know what? I'm not going to go into it. Obviously, he wins with a lion tamer, and I'm over it. After the match, all 3 of them end up posing and holding each other's hands or whatever, like everything is all good and jolly. And honestly, Chris Jericho, you just don't do it for me. Alright, you guys, on to the last segment of the night. We had the Young Bucks are in the ring. They're talking shit about Sting. Obviously, Darby Allin is not happy about this, and he goes in there alone and get his ass whooped, okay? His ass was handed to him from the Young Bucks. But then, here comes Ric Flair's music playing. Obviously, the crowd starts to wake their asses up, and they're excited to see Ric Flair. Ric Flair can barely walk to the ring. He finally makes it. They don't even show us how he walked up the steel steps. He probably got carried into the ring for God knows. He just not in great shape. Now, he comes in there. He takes one of the bats that the Young Bucks had, and it looks like he's going to attack Darby with it. While Darby is hardly conscious, then he goes and attacks the Young Bucks instead. So then I'm just like, okay, so they swerved us. Everybody was thinking that Ric Flair, for no reason at all, had joined the Young Bucks, but now it's all good in the hood because he is attacking the Young Bucks. Then the Young Bucks started beating his ass up too. And when I seen this, I was so upset because I am just like, Tony fucking Khan, you have Ric Flair, who is a gajillion years old, with a fucking pacemaker on. This man can barely walk into the ring, and yet you have people, I don't care if they are gently stomping on him, I don't care if they're pretending to punch him, he should not be in the ring under no circumstances. Tony Khan seems to want to please the fans or whoever it is by having Ric Flair coming to the ring for whatever reason and not considering that the number one priority is to make sure that everyone who is signed, whether if they are a wrestler or if they're over there mopping the floors, are safe. And Ric Flair is not in good health and should not be in the ring taking any type of bumps, anything at all. And for whatever reason, Tony Khan has allowed that, and I am not okay with that. He is a fucking liability because he is not in great health. Now, while that happens, Ric Flair is laid out after the attack. The Young Bucks goes up to the stage. When they hear Sting's music, they think Sting is going to come out down the ramp. However, Sting actually comes down from the rafters, which was so fucking cool to see. I was like, well, if y'all did anything right in this segment, it was that, and I really did appreciate that. Sting comes out, put a can of whoop ass onto the Young Bucks, and it looks like, Sting and Darby are looking great going into the pay-per-view. Now, the whole episode itself is really, really mid, because at the end of the day, you have to consider this is your last-ditch effort to get people to purchase the pay-per-view. If on your A show, you can't get your shit together, people are not going to look for Rampage or Collision to see what's going to play out. This is Sting's last time going to be on any televised AEW show while he is still an active wrestler. This right here, I didn't care too much for the whole segment, but they did have the last minute or so go pretty great with Sting coming out and attacking the Young Bucks. So I did enjoy that. However, this show was not strong enough for people to say, let me get my wallet and spend this $50 on the pay-per-view. Sting, I'm thankful for everything that he's done in this business. He has been absolutely amazing. One of those few people in the business where you never hear no foolishness, nothing horrible about this man. And I really do appreciate that because that's so rare in the business. And I really wish that they would have had more of a solid build for this match or any of Sting's potential matches for his retirement. It just have not been that great, but I'm still looking forward to the pay-per-view regardless. Guys, if you missed the episode, it wasn't really all that. Had a couple of great moments, but really skippable. For the pay-per-view, I think it's going to be pretty great. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with Ring of Honor.